Everything you're about to see on the screen, a cinematic video, an educational explainer, a slide deck, and a stack of short videos for social media, came from just one idea I dictated in my phone. Total hands-on time, 25 minutes. I've spent the better part of 25 years in digital marketing and video production, and I'm telling you this is one of the biggest shifts I've ever seen in who gets to create. I call it the content scaled system, and I'm going to show you every step. I started online in the early 90s. In 1994, I launched Rapid Traffic, my first .com. And I loved video from the start. I loved telling stories. But I already knew I was behind the 8 ball because a real camera was $25,000 and I had the $2,000 version. Plasma screen TVs were $25,000 at the time. Laptops were overpriced, bulky, and batteries were the same and they never held a charge long enough. And computers could never really render video properly. It always took multiple efforts and would crash at the last moment because of memory. The moment I remember most, I was heading to my own wedding in St. Lucia, and I brought all my gear with me. At the airport, the inspector's going through my bags, looking at me like I'm about to shoot a feature film. And I'm thinking, nope, I'm just trying to film my wedding on the beach. But the amount of gear I had was probably outnumbering my actual luggage. And after all that money and all that effort, the results were still mediocre. Never good enough to put you in the league where anyone took you seriously. Phones changed part of this. Suddenly kids on social media were publishing videos with no production thought at all, and it worked for them. But for businesses, professionals, marketers who actually needed to say something well, the camera was never the real barrier. The barrier was the production, the storytelling, the script, the consistency, doing it well enough that it built something over time. Democratizing the camera didn't democratize any of that. If it's not a process in your business that runs consistently, then doing it in an ad hoc way isn't really worth it. You publish a few videos, life happens, and it just stops. Then something shifted. In the last year or two, the tools finally got democratized enough to do the parts that were actually hard. The production, the scripts, the consistency. Today, if you can dictate a thought into your phone, you can publish a video, an explainer in a slide deck, and short form clips for social media by the end of the day, all from one idea. And that's not incremental, that's a completely different game. Now the tools are early. Some of the output still has a watermark on it. Here's the thing about the watermark. You're already competing with teenagers who have no production rules at all, hitting the publishing button 20 times a day, and enough of them get it right by luck that they beat you to the audience. If you're a marketer or a business owner who sees a watermark and decides not to publish, you're telling the market you don't actually intend to grow. The watermark is nothing compared to what you're missing: consistency, messaging, and a way of producing that runs regularly. That's what actually matters. And these tools are the worst they will ever be. What they do today is already remarkable, and I can't imagine where they'll be in 18 months from now. Which means that people who learn the system now get better automatically every time the tools improve. So who's it actually for? If you're a marketer at a small company or a consultancy, if you're a business owner who does your own marketing, if you're already publishing written content and know what you want to say, but you've never cracked video as a real, repeatable part of your work, this is for you. Maybe you've hired someone before. Most people have, and most people have had hot and cold experiences. Some good videos, some that missed, then it stops when the budget runs out. This puts you back in control. You set the standard, you own the process, and the quality floor is already what most paid producers deliver at a normal budget. And that floor only gets higher every time the tool improves. This isn't for people trying to become influencers. It's for people who already have an expertise worth publishing and want a system that runs. Let me show you the system. 5 stages, no coding. All right, here's my screen. Let's get started. Normally I'll use my iPhone and voice memos on my iPhone to record my thoughts, record anything that I want to talk about, any concept I have. AI is fantastic with that. Once you get to your MacBook, you can pull out the transcription. So as you can see here, this is the beginning of the transcription. For most people with expertise worth publishing, it automatically transcribes it for you. Then you can copy this out. But we're going to get started first with GPT. I'm going to take my first prompt, which is going to be to clean up all this raw spoken word. And the next thing is I'm going to take this transcript, copy the whole thing, add that to the bottom of the prompt, and then get started. This will clean it up for any errors. Transcription is not perfect all the time, so you want to be able to look at it from that perspective, that it's not going to be 100% perfect. The next prompt is actually going to review the transcript for any kind of crazy claims that you may have said or things that are false and completely wrong and you don't want to have actually said those things. So it provides some minimal edits. See, there's no claims about named individuals and so on. So overall, I did pretty good there. The next prompt is going to list any of these factual claims so they can be quoted. And then we move on to doing some research to see if we can support any of these claims or quotes to see if they're factually true. So it lists all the claims that were made. Then we ask it to do some research. Actually, I'm going to bump this model up a little higher. Doesn't matter if you use ChatGPT or Claude, none of those really make a big difference. There we go. So now it's going to read the skill document and start doing some research on these claims. Since I have a second here, I'll announce this too. NotebookLM is now Gemini Notebook. Sorry, it took me a second to figure that one out. So NotebookLM has changed its name to Gemini Notebook, as you can see. So a little changeover that's happened just the other day. So we really don't want to go out there creating a whole bunch of content that will just come back as individuals telling us, hey, guess what? That's not true. That's actually not what happened. Or no, none of that is true. I'm surprised by this one with the camera prices because I'm sure camera prices have gone down dramatically, right? So this is exactly the work you want AI to do. Go out there, do the research, come back with all these sources, all this data, review all of it, give you some factual response back, and then it generates a research supplement document. And that's what we need for our next step. Since we have a second still and it's still generating the supplement, we're actually going to go right in here and we're going to end up taking our transcript. We're going to go to NotebookLM, we're going to add it. We're going to copy text directly. You can also upload the file directly. Let me just add one thing. Let's only use claims that support. So I can use this as a source in NotebookLM. I don't want NotebookLM to have to think about the data and go through it. Otherwise, it's better just to give it the specific claims or support that you do want to include because it's really just going to pull from that source and it's way more useful. All right, now we can jump to some NotebookLM prompts. So now that the sources have been reviewed, I'm going to actually go into the chat box here in NotebookLM, and I'm going to ask it to go through and look at the source, write a script for a quality cinematic video with a compelling hook, narrative, referencing the research material, confident, plain-spoken documentary pace, no hype language, no claims beyond the source. There's the video script that it created. It gives you the script and the output here. It even says, I can turn the quantified data from your research supplements, such as AI cost declining, so and so, into a clear graphic. We do not want that. We're actually going to say, create a cinematic video following this script as closely as possible. The good thing is it can take its own instructions and then actually start. So we don't actually have to go into here. See, it's already started it. So I didn't have to go in here and do anything to start the cinematic. I actually got it to write out a script based on the source and then start to create the cinematic video, which again, makes the process very easy. Next, we're going to look at short form content. So we're going to ask it to look for 3 short form video concepts based on the source material. It's going to give me those 3 ideas, and then we're going to use those to generate the short form content. And then an explainer, as you can see here, there's cinematic, explainer, and short. There you go. 1, 2, and then 3. There we go. I asked it to do a video based on the short form video for concept 1. We'll ask it to do concept 2. And then the next is an explainer video. Explainer videos tend to be more like graphically driven, whereas the cinematics look like some pretty amazing videos. So we're basically going to do the same thing here. So it helps develop the concept and the prompt, and the output is fantastic. And then the last item, we're going to do a slideshow deck based on all of this information too. Okay, we'll even just go with option A. Interesting that you can do an editable PowerPoint. I've not seen that before. Very interesting. There you go. Got everything running now, and I'll check back with you guys shortly once we actually have some of the content produced to review.
This 280-fold decrease fundamentally shifts the iteration cost. Generating 12 concepts via AI is now cheaper than paying to brainstorm one idea manually.
Wow, that was a fantastic video. I love the graphics on it. I love the explanation. It stayed within the storyline, and it turned out looking amazing, to be honest with you. And it was only 4 minutes and 5 seconds. Very nice. Very nice. I find these slideshows do a great job of coming up with graphical ideas that you can use in your videos like this one. I'm very happy with this PowerPoint. Great work.
Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're a marketer, a business owner, or really just someone who puts out amazing written content but has, let's be honest, a total graveyard of failed video initiatives, you are absolutely in the right place.
I really like the way they speak in this video, and I feel like it's very natural. This explainer video just does a great job of explaining complex issues.
The 2025 Reuters data shows a super clear mandate. Globally, social video news consumption is up to 65% this year. But check out this middle stat. In the US, it reached 54%, which officially beats out traditional TV news at 50%. That's a huge milestone. They are definitely hitting play instead of scrolling through paragraphs.
That was fantastic. That explainer video was just top notch. I was very impressed. Covered all the details really, really well. Fantastic. What a great short video. Really covered the key points. Amazing graphics. I really liked it.
Your role completely reverses. You are no longer doing the manual labor. You become an editor. You just screen those 6 drafts, delete the errors, and publish the winners.
Overall, I'm just amazed by everything that came out here. The cinematic video was fantastic. It was definitely great graphics. The explainer doesn't have as good graphics, but has a more detailed level explanation, which I think does a great job of educating. All the shorts were slightly different in their graphics and slightly different in their focus. And then the PowerPoint itself as well, just incredible graphics that I was very happy and want to use some of those graphics in some of our other video production stuff. So this was great, great job. So let's be honest about what this run actually took, because I logged everything. Hands-on time, 25 minutes. Total elapsed from dictating the idea to the last rendered download and reviewed, 35 minutes. What it produced? 6 pieces of finished content. A cinematic video, 3 short-form videos, an educational explainer, and an incredible slide deck. Failed generations this run, 0. And here's what my quality check caught. 2 things. First, my research pass flagged a claim I was sure was true about camera prices dropping, as an unsupported by the source it found. So the claim never went into the notebook, and it never appeared in a single output, and the system only spoke from verified, grounded sources. Second, on one of the generated videos claimed that this workflow produced 6 to 10 short videos in an afternoon. My actual run produced 3, plus 3 other formats. Close but inflated, the AI overstated its own productivity, and my review caught it. The real number is the one that gets published. That's the real math, not magic. It's a system with a human making the calls. And here's the part that almost nobody sees yet. Every run also produced something more valuable than this week's content. Your archive. Your transcripts, your voice, your best scripts, saved and organized. The tools will keep changing. They belong to Google and OpenAI and Anthropic. The archive is yours, and every future tool will come out, will work better for the person who has one. Start now or start behind. I also apply these same principles in a private R&D workflow on my own. What I teach is the transparent, human-controlled version you can operate today, and honestly, it's the version that matters. For 25 years, video belonged to the people who could afford the complexity, the gear, the editors, the agencies, and the time. Everyone else stayed quiet. That era just ended. I'm opening a small founding group soon. Marketers who already publish written work and want to complete their first video run with me reviewing it personally. Seats will be limited, and my waiting list hears about it first. The link is contentscaled.com. It's in the description. And every week, I'm publishing a documented run of this exact system, the outputs and what my QA caught, so you can judge it for yourself. If you've been waiting for the moment when video finally got easy enough, this is it. I'll see you in the next one.